All right. What's going on, guys? So, I I wanted to make this video, this broadcast, where I figured this would be the easiest way to do it. I don't want this to be too long, but I wanted to make this video about Final Fantasy XVI's combat system and how surprisingly in depth the combat system is, even a lot more than what I initially thought the game would be. Now, I thought the game was cool and fun when when I first played the game, right? But I've now since put about a little over 100 hours into the game, and I've since learned that there's actually quite a lot of depth to the combat system, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like today. So, all right. So just to kind of get into it, right? Because I don't want it to be too long. Clive, right, like any other game, has his base function, right? His base attacks, right? I'm gonna show those to you right now. You, like right here, you could do his 4-hit combo, right? You could do his magic ability right here. Obviously, you can move around and things like that, right? All of the basic stuff. You can move around, use his magic, right? You have his jump ability, right? And then you have his dodge. Right, those are all basic things. You could dodge in any which way you want, essentially, right? And then there are some abilities that you learn that are part of his basic function that you have to, like I said, learn from his ability tree. So, right here, one of the abilities is this ability to lunge, right? That's one of them. And then here's another one where you could jump and stomp off of the enemy to reposition yourself. Right? And then you have this ability right here where you press and hold the attack button, and then he does a downward slash, right? Now, those are all of his basic abilities in the game, right? His basic moveset. Now, once you start learning the actual combat system, what you learn is that you can actually start chaining a lot of these things together, right? So, instead of just doing like his 4-hit combo, right, you could do what they call a magic burst, right, which is you attack and then you hit the magic button right after the attack to do a magic burst, right? So that's the magic burst, right? And then you also have his charged magic shot as well. So, right? And then all of these things you could do in the air as well. So like if you wanted to do the magic burst in the air, or even an aerial combo, like a basic aerial combo, that's the basic aerial combo. And then you could do a aerial magic burst combo. I'll show you. So I'm trying to get it for you. See, like that, right? And then, like I said, you can even if you wanted to do like the charge attack, you could jump and do a charge attack as well in midair, right? Now those are all of like the kind of like the basic function that you could do with his moveset, right? And then before I get into kind of like the iconic abilities, right, and how that kind of plays into all of this, you can even just kind of chain his attacks together, like his regular attacks. So you could just do kind of like that, right? And every one of his abilities have like I said, an aerial version. So even this flame attack, right, has an aerial version of it, right? And then you can kind of like mix and match and play with the game how you actually want to chain his abilities together, right? So that's the basic functionality of like how his basic moveset works, right? Now, when you kind of get into the iconic abilities, right? Now, this is where the combos and the combat system kind of gets a little bit more like complicated, right? because I'm going to show you right here. So right now I have loaded out the Titan icon. I also have Odin, and I also have Shiva, right? Now each one of these icons, they have a basic like ability that comes only with that specific icon, right? So like if you look at Titan right here, right? If you look at the bottom right, Titan has the Titan block, right? Now the Titan block allows you to, let me show you here. I'm gonna aggro the enemy so I can show you. The Titan block allows you to block incoming enemy attacks just like that, right? The Arm of Darkness, right? He has a sword, right? He pulls out this sword, and this has a bunch of different functionalities, and I'm going to show you what that is in a second, right? And then you have Shiva, right? Shiva has his Cold Snap. The cool thing about this is that it has a few different functions as well, right? One of which being to maneuver around the enemy, right? And maneuver around the field as you want to, right? Now, that's just the basic idea of the icons. They all have their own like basic function, right? Now, the cool thing is that, like I was saying earlier, right? Everything has a basic functionality in the game, right? And what you could do is the iconic abilities kind of build off of the core function of the game. So, where you could use a Titan block to block an enemy here, right? Like I showed you before. There's a function, right? Where if you get the timing just right for the attack, he does a parry, just like that, right? And then you could follow up with a follow attack, right? Now Titan has another ability called the Raging Fist. I have it loaded onto the triangle button, which does the same thing, right? You can use it to block incoming attacks, but you have to get the timing just right. But you could also use it, right? You could also use it just as a regular attack. So I'm going to show you what the counter version of it looks like that. Right? That's the counter version. And then there's another version where, like I said, it's just a regular attack, right? Now there are multiple abilities in the game that you can actually do this with, right? So this is what his regular, just like that, right? Now you can see I have Rook's Gambit, right? If you do a precision dodge with Rook's Gambit, right, he does something called a Gambit counter, right? Now if you don't do it beforehand, it just depends on how you want to chain his abilities together. But if you don't want to do that, you could just do his regular attack just like that, right? So the idea is that basically the iconic abilities are essentially built off of the function of Clive's moveset. So like the precision dodge, you could do a precision dodge with certain abilities that chains into a different ability, right? I'm gonna show you something here, right? Now not every ability has this, right? But there are certain abilities in the game where you can actually do like a charged attack, right? And I'm gonna show you. So right here you have the upheaval attack for Titan, which I have loaded out to the Odin icon right now, right? But then you also have other abilities, right? Where if you hold it, right, it does like a charged ability. So it has like its own cool, crazy animation, right? And then it goes into a more powerful attack, right? Now here's one other thing, right? There's a function in the game where you can parry. I'm gonna show you like this. The way the parry works is, the regular parry is you have to hit the enemy's attacks right when they attack, right? Now there are some abilities in the game, right, that work off of this. So like Odin, for example, right? When you take out his Arms of Darkness, right? If you do a parry attack with his Arm of Darkness, he does his own ability. It has its own like moveset to it. But it's also based off of the dodge too. So like if you do a precision dodge with Odin's sword, right? He does his own attack, just like that, right? So the idea is that, and I'm going to show you some of the other ones here because I have some other ones loaded out. Right, so I have Blind Justice, which is the basic function for Ramu, right? And then I have the Wings of Light, right? Which, this is based off of the precision dodge, right? And you can see, every time I do the precision dodge, it charges his Mega Flare over in the left corner, and then you can use his attack. Just like that. So, it's really cool, man. It's really cool, like, how you can actually chain all of these things together. Now, that's just how you kind of chain the iconic abilities together. Now, there's a function in the game, right, where you can upgrade your abilities, right? Now, when you go to the ability tree, like all of these abilities right here, you have open to you, right? Now, there are two levels to the upgrade, essentially, right? So when you look at it, right, you'll see where it says learned, right? You can learn the ability because not all of these are learned right away. And then what you could do is you can upgrade it, right? You can see in the top right corner over here where it says upgraded, you can upgrade it, right? So basically what that means is each ability, right, it has like the basic attack, and then when you upgrade it, it upgrades it to a stronger version of it, right? And then later on into the game, when you have enough points to purchase it, you can see down here, right, where it says on the bottom right corner, it says master. You can master every one of these abilities, right? And the only thing that mastering does, right, is what it does is it allows you to load out different iconic abilities, right, to a different icon, right? So like I was saying before, right, when I first started the broadcast, right, every icon has its own latent ability. So like Phoenix has the Phoenix Shift, right? Ramu has the Blind Justice, Wings of Light I just showed you, right? Now what you could do is once you master the abilities, right, you can mix and match these different iconic abilities with the base function for the icon. So like you have Phoenix Shift, right? So if I wanted to, right, I can come over here and then I can add, say, like Wicked Wheel from Garuda, right? Or I could put Thunderstorm from Ramu, right? I have a couple here that I already have loaded out. So right here I have Cold Snap with Shiva, Mesmerize, Heaven's Cloud with Odin, right? And you can see I have Shiva as the base icon and her basic move, right, which is the Cold Snap, right? And then I have an icon loaded to her icon, you know, an iconic ability loaded to her icon, right? And then I have that for basically all of them except for Ramu, right? So what that allows you to do is mix and match all of the different iconic abilities how you want to, right? Depending on how your playstyle is, because then at that point, that's just how you choose to play the game, how you play, you know, how your play style is essentially, right? So right here, I kind of already have it set up. And I'm going to show you, once you kind of have all of these things kind of like set in motion,